Hey, so what's good everyone? I know Frieren doesn't need more coverage, but I want to talk about it because it's been so long since a hyped up anime has lived up to the hype. So just for some extra context, I heavily dislike shows like Demon Slayer, JJK, the second half of Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, etc. You know, shit like that. So now imagine how surprised I was when Frieren comes through with some amazing writing, consistently high quality animation, fun and interesting characters with great chemistry, some really cool themes, and mature dialogue. With each episode of Frieren I watched, I just could not stop saying like, this shit is so good. And now that I finished season 2, I'm honestly surprised that it's better than the first season. I'm not saying the first season was a 10 out of 10. I think I've said before that it was a 9 out of 10 season. Very strong 9. It was just, I didn't see them going for that 10 with season 2, but look where we are. So the thing is, season 2 is a return to Frieren at its best. It's adventurous, the dialogue is really fun, it's low-key, subtle, and almost leaning into a slice of life kind of vibe. And you might be saying, what are you talking about slice of life? It feels like a fantasy slice of life sometimes, a lot of the times. And that's a really good thing in my opinion. Episode 3 is a great example of this. It's not about shortcuts, and watching characters do mundane things helps me connect with these characters. And I think the reason for that is because all of it just comes off as so human and incredibly wholesome. I was thinking every time that the fucking ending song came on for season 2, I just kept on thinking, when this show is done, it's gonna leave that empty feeling. Like, I'm gonna miss these characters. And I really can't emphasize how often that ending song made me feel. Anytime it came on, whether it be at the end of the episode or on my playlist, I would get really sentimental and in my feelings and shit. And it was weird because, you know, typically when I finish an episode of an anime, I just immediately go on to the next episode. But in the case of Frieren, I would actually sometimes just sit there and let the ending play because it was just that fucking good. And the visuals are so fucking just warm, and I think that's the best way to describe it, is just warm. And to take it a little further, I would say it's very comparable to shows like Nonnon Biyori, K-On!, and Avatar. I wouldn't say I'm nearly as attached to the Frieren characters as I am with the K-On! Characters and the Avatar characters, but what I'm saying here is it's giving me that same feeling. Not at the same level, but the feeling is there. I just find the Frieren characters to be that charming and likable. Now, I think in a more broader sense, the most important thing to me in Frieren is how mature it is. This applies to the themes, the characters, dialogue, and even the fucking comedy. The style of character writing just feels down to earth and relatable. The dialogue isn't corny or unnecessary, and Frieren really does loud equals funny style of humor that's really popular in anime, and when they do, it's actually done pretty well. Because it's usually Stark doing that shit, and guess what, Stark is... Well, before season 2 he was my favorite character, now it's Frieren. But yeah, Stark is my favorite character, and he's the guy doing the loud equals funny shit. I think that says something. And so with that being said, I want to talk about the characters a little more, because with season 2 we got to see more of a Genau, whatever his name, I don't know how to fucking say it, but we got to see more of him. And something Frieren is really good at is developing characters in a very short amount of time. So in the first season, think of characters like Sein, Werbel, and Denken. In this season, it's Genau. He was introduced in the first season, but his little arc in season 2 does so much in so little time. Again, it's fucking crazy. We learn so much about his perspective and just him in general. I really don't know the word for a person like him, but his apathy is written so well, and it's really convincing. And even a character like Himmel is incredibly likable. I shit on characters like Himmel a lot who are just super kind people, because I don't like characters like Deku, Naruto, and Luffy. But Himmel, something about the way his dialogue is and the way he acts, it just comes off as so much more human and likable, where even if he's just this really nice guy, he's still very human. which is strange because for characters like Deku and Naruto, I always say that their kindness is what makes them non-human in a way. In Tanjiro, put Tanjiro in that fucking bracket. I always say that their kindness is what makes them inhuman and incredibly unrelatable. But Himmel's kind of like that, right? But I don't know, something about the way Himmel's written is just he's just so much more likable. Or maybe I'm just biased towards Frieren. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's because Himmel just comes off as more mature or something. But besides that, Season 2 pushed me to appreciate Frieren a lot more. And it's not that I didn't appreciate it before, it's just that I loved Stark so much. Stark is a great character, but so is Frieren. And so is fucking Fern. But Season 2 is a huge emphasis on Frieren, I feel like. And there's just so much emphasis on her that she's now my favorite character. And I just want to point out that we all know Frieren is adorable, right? Everything about her. From her design, you know, the twin tails, her giant fucking ears. She's short as fuck. She's adorable. Love her. But even her tantrum is fucking adorable. I think it's in episode 4 or 5, something like that. Maybe even episode 3. But that tantrum was so fucking cute. Couldn't believe it. But yeah, with the moving on from the characters, I just want to go over the fight scenes real quick. Fight scenes can be judged in a lot of different ways. It's not just about the quality of the animation, right? Well, quality animation to me, in the context of a fight scene, is a very broad term. But I'll just say this. Frieren has very interesting choreography, fluid animation, consistent line work, and the fights are always very well paced. Something that occurred to me in episode 8 is that despite the emphasis on mage characters that shoot magic, the fights involving melee weapons, aka Stark fights, are so much more interesting to watch than anything I've seen of certain other animes where melee weapons are an important part of the fight, right? So, Demon Slayer. I'm trying to think of other examples, but I can't. That's just the one example that comes off the top of my head. I'm just saying, I think Frieren fights, you know, apples to apples. When Frieren is doing those melee weapon fights, it is significantly more interesting to watch than something like Demon Slayer. And I might just be biased because I fucking love Frieren, but like, I genuinely think that. Just the way, like, just for example, Stark in Season 2, just the way he's moving and stuff, and the fights he's participating in are just so interesting to watch. But I just wanted to talk about Frieren real quick because it's been on my mind since I finished watching it. I'll stop there. There might have been some things that I missed, and for what it's worth, I did have some nitpicks with Season 2, but it's literally just that, nitpicks. I think it's bullshit to lower an anime score just through nitpicks. In case anyone was wondering what those nitpicks are, my nitpicks include, in the first couple episodes, the explosions have this weird 3D look to them that looks fucking weird. Methode is still a very uninteresting character. And there's one more thing, I think it was like the demons are still very uninteresting as like a race. They're just evil. But that's really it. That's not something I would deduct points for. I genuinely think this season is a 10 out of 10. A strong 10 out of 10 too. Not even just slight 10 out of 10, light 10 out of 10. I mean strong as fuck. And if Frieren just continues on this path, I could honestly see this being like a top 20 anime for me. Right now, I'd say definitely top 40. A show like this is something I've been wanting to see for the longest time, because Frieren's maturity is what makes it special. It's so fucking... It's a show that knows how to take itself seriously, how to create a familiar but interesting fantasy world, how to create charming characters without leaning into quirks, how to be funny without being loud, and how to write dialogue that isn't corny. Whenever I try to describe the show, I can only come up with the words genuine and heartfelt, maybe even human. And I think that stems from how human everything is, with the characters and their struggles, the introspective and quiet moments, the themes that are represented through the characters, and that fucking ending song. I can't say it enough. I think Frieren is seriously something special, especially among the mainstream anime right now. There's not a lot of anime like it. Well, honestly, as far as mainstream anime goes, I don't think there's anything like it.